Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachariya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gaur Premanande Jai Vishnupad Paramamsa Parirajakara Stotra Shadashti Divine Grace Abhay Charnavindesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramamsa Parirajikari Stotra Shata Srimad Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaur Premanande. All glories are assembled devotees, all glories are assembled devotees, all glories Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories Srila Prabhupada Ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Seva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirahe Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama-shloke Bhaktir-bhavati Nastaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 87, Text 22. Tvadanupātham kulyam idam atmasprit priyavacha charanti tatormokhe tayi hite priyatmani nicha nabhata ramyata aho asit upasamyatyam hono yad anusyasya brahmat uru bhava ko sarira bharat tad brahmanutpam kulayam idam atmaspruhat prayasava charanti tato mukhe tvai hite priyatmani cha nabhataramyata ho asad upanyamastyamo yad anusyasya bhrat uru bhrase kusarira bhrat. The translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: what word meaning? Tvat, you, anupatam, useful for serving, kovalyam, body, idam, this, atmana, self, shrihate, friend, priya, and bewildered. What, as, charati, act, tata, nevertheless, anumukhe, who are favorably disposed, tvai, in you, hite, who are helpful, priye, who are affectionate, atmani, who are their very self, cha, and, na, not, bhata, alas, ramanti, they take pleasure, aho, ah, asat, of unreal, upasyanyasya, by worship, atma, themselves, hara, killing, yat, in which, worship of unreal, anusoyaha, whose presence persists in desire, brahmati, they wonder, uru, greatly, bhaye, in the fearful material existence, ko, regretted, sariraha, body, bhrata, carrying. Translation: when this human body is used for your devotional service, it acts as oneself, friend and beloved. But unfortunately, although you always show mercy to the conditioned souls and affectionately help them in every way. And although you are their true self, people in general fail to delight in you. Instead, they commit spiritual suicide by worshipping illusion. Alas, because they persistently hope for success in their devotion to the unreal, they continue to wander about this greatly fearful world, assuming the various degraded bodies. Purport. The Vedas have strong words for those who choose to remain in illusion rather than serve the all merciful personality of Godhead. The Brihat Anyaka Upanishad states that Aramam asas prashanti na tvam pashanti kanchana na tvam vidhati ya imam jagannadaya yukusmad antaram bhuvi nirnita pravadha jalpa chasu kripa uktavas sahasra charanti. Everyone can see the place where the Lord manifests himself in this world for his own pleasure, but still no one sees him. None of you know him who generate all these living beings, and thus there is a great difference between your vision and his. Covered by the fog of illusion, you performers of Vedic rituals indulge in the useless dark and live only to gratify your senses. The Supreme Lord prevails in this universe as he says in the Bhagavad Gita 9.4, Maya tadamidam sarvam jagat. Nothing in this world, not even the most insignificant clay pot or a shred of a cloth, is devoid of the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because he keeps himself invisible to envious eye, Avyaktamurtina, materialistics are misled by his material energy and think that the source of material creation is a combination of atoms and physical forces. Displaying their compassion for such foolish materialistic, the personified Veda advised them in prayers to remember the real purpose for which they exist, to serve the Lord, their greatest well-wisher with a loving devotion. The human body is ideal facility for reviving one's spiritual consciousness. Its organs, ears, tongue, eyes, and so on, are quite suitable for hearing about the Lord, chanting His glories, worshipping Him, and performing all the other essential aspects of devotional service. One's material body is designated to remain intact for only a short time, and it is to be called kvala, subjected to dissolve into the earth. Nonetheless, if properly utilized, it can be one's best friend. When one is immersed in material consciousness, however, the body becomes false friend, distracted and bewildered living entity from his true self-interest. Persons too much infatuated with their own bodies and those of their spouses, children, pets, and so on are in fact of misleading their devotion to the worship of illusion, asat upasanasa. In this way, that the Shrutis state here, such a people commit spiritual suicide, insecure future punishment for failing to carry out the higher responsibilities of human existence. As the Ishopanishad declares, Asuryanamate loke andina tamasishvara अस्मात् प्रत्यगच्छन्ति ये च चितात्मनो जनाः. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of faithlessness, full of darkness and ignorance. Those who are overly attached to sense gratification or who worship the impermanent in the form of false materialistic scriptures and philosophies maintain the desire that carry them into more degraded bodies in each successive life. Since they are trapped in the perpetually rotating cycle of samsara, their only hope for salvation is getting a chance to hear the merciful instructions spoken by the Supreme Lord's devotee. Srila Sridhar Swami plays Tvayatmaniya Jagannathe Manmanorathim Rathinam Iha Kadamandveshwaram Jnanam Manusharam Sambhavisyasi. When will I receive a human birth in which my mind may take pleasure in you? You are the Supreme Soul and Lord of the universe. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurulmitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namavom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this purport gives you clear picture of human form of life. What he should be doing, what he should be not doing. It gives a blueprint. Exactly. These Vedas, personification of Vedas, prayers, they personify. They are also persons. They glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and at the same time, they mention the reality of this world. We should understand both Krishna and Maya. If you only understand Krishna, then Maya will take away. If you only understand Maya, not Krishna, then you will be in illusion. So once there was a person came to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and like people visit him, and he says that Maharaj Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, I saw Krishna in my dream. He told. Then he says, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj says, "Oh, you saw Krishna in dream? Did you saw Maya also?" "No, what is Maya?" "I did not see any Maya. I saw only Krishna." Then Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, "You are a fool, number one. You did not see Krishna." See, when Vyasadeva, author of the Srimad Bhagavatam Vedanta Sutra Veda, when he saw Krishna, he also saw Maya. Behind Krishna, there was Maya also standing. That is a real darshan. You cannot only see Krishna without seeing Maya. Just like we cannot see only Krishna without Radharani. We cannot only see Krishna without Balram. It's like we cannot see somebody says, I saw Krishna in my dream. Krishna every day in my dream he comes me and he asks me about my welfare. No. That means he is full. He is a full number one. But when you see Krishna and Maya, then you got a real darshan. We imagine why, see, you just like an example, why Vyasadeva saw Krishna and Maya both? Because he could understand his Shakti and Shaktiman, energy and energetic. Then only you can have both darshan. Then only you are, you are how, you took real darshan. You had a real vision. But if you only have a power, just Krishna, that means you are in illusion. So similarly, this verse tells us, you know, You should know what is illusion and what is real. Just like in the Ishopanishad, also Ishopanishad, and it says that if you know just sense gratification, or if you don't know anything about that, then you are the killer of the soul. You are committing spiritual suicide. Asurya namate loke andena tamasishvara. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, he must enter into the planets of the known as worlds of faithless. So here in this verse, it is displaying the foolish people who are having so much compassion for this materialistic life. So much attachment. They think that this is the world. This is only the world that we can live forever and ever and ever. But this is not true. Of course, we have to do something necessary for maintaining our body and soul. But at the same time, when you understand what is the real nature, what is this, where we have to go, where we need to be, and how our body senses are used to be, are meant for your use. Like just like ears. Ears are not only meant for hearing the worldly news, but also its main thing is to hear the glorification of the Lord. That's why we got these ears. Otherwise, when you hear something else, then the ears become unchaste. And also tongue. Tongue should be always engaged in glorification of the Lord. If it is not engaged, then with the tongue also becomes unchaste. Similarly, ears, eyes, nose, everything. Just like when you engage something in the Krishna consciousness, there are you will become a pure devotee of the Lord. Just like in the example is four Kumaras. When they go to the Vaikuntha Lok, of course they come across Jai and Vijay, they curse, and after that, from inside the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, their tulsi fragrance all the way coming to the nose, and when they smell that nose, all their misconception of impersonal Brahma, whatever they had before the smelling that of fragrance, it all become destroyed, and they become pure devotees, isn't it? Because just by smelling, uh, we also smell every day incense. There are some incidents where people used to come for the moment in temple just for the smelling incense, and gradually they become a devotee of the Lord. There was some devotee, they were asked, then how do you become a devotee, like what was your first introduction? And they mentioned, we like the incense smell, you know that gradually went to go on to the coming every regular programs every day, or regularly Sunday feast programs, or festivals. For just smelling the incense, fragrance incense, and eventually they come in contact with devotees, and they become a devotee. See, for somebody else, like this, there will be a prasadam. For prasadam, I think so many people have become devotee. Even people who don't know anything, any philosophy, they just come for eating prasadam and they become a devotee. That means engaging the tongue. So here that verse, it says that if we are not doing that, it's only killer of the soul. You know, Ada Sri Krishna Namadi na grahit indriyan bhave sevan mukhe jivhado swayameva sparataya. So you cannot understand Krishna just by your material senses. Sevan Mukhe. How do we do Sevan? Chanting, the holy name of the Lord, serving the Lord, doing devotional service, engaging our tongue, engaging our eyes, engaging our ears, so that we will become suitable and for going back home, back to Godhead. When we worship, that all comes. But the foolish materialistic people, they should understand this is the not real goal of life. You may be in this lifetime, in this life, you may be having all kind of luxuries, all kinds of facilities that gives you pleasure, that gives you happiness. But eventually they are taken away due to your past good karma, that you got this body, that you got this opulence, you got this rich, you were born in rich family, you can having all kind of facility, but at the same time, this is not permanent. One day you will be kicked out. As Srila Prabhupada says in the lectures, you may be living happily, but no, sir, the death will come and take it away everything. So before the death comes to take away everything, one has to understand, to prepare for next lifetime. And you say, no, if you are not preparing for the next lifetime, if you are thinking, this is it, I don't have to do anything, but you are, you know, in in illusion, that you don't utilize your your body in devotional service, then what will happen? You are not. Then you'll be in illusion, and then you will be usually distracted by the bewildered by this false illusion, and then we cycle of birth and death. That's why we should say, then when you utilize everything in your service of Krishna, then this body becomes your friend. Then utilize everything in sense gratification, then this body becomes your enemy. So in this way, the various Vedas, Shrutis, they glorify the Lord, at the same time they tell the reality of this material world, that how we should not be carried away the more degraded bodies. Because people in this world, they are trying to enjoy to full of their extent, but they cannot be enjoyed because they were always undisturbed. Disturbed by all kinds of problems and agitated, and they don't have peace, and they are not satisfied. And it is just like even though they have all kinds of facilities, all kinds of all kinds of the needs that they are having, and they don't have to work anything. It is just like decorating a dead body. When somebody decorates a dead body with a new dress, new fragrance, or new scent, and if they give nice makeup, after all, it's a dead body. What are you going to do with it? It's going to bury, or it's going to burn it. That's why we should not be stuck up in this cycle of samsara. The only hope for salvation is getting a chance to hear the merciful instructions of the Lord. Like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. When you hear those instructions, then you will understand how to get out. You will understand first your condition, what condition I am in, and how am suffering, and how merciful is the Lord, and how to get out of this entrap. So, provincially, we should not stuck in the rotation of the cycle of birth and death, which is very, very darkness. So that's why Srila Sridhar Swami prays. He prays that when will I receive the human birth, in which my mind take pleasure in you. You are the super soul and the Lord of universe. So he is not praying for himself. It looks like he is praying for himself. No, Sridhar Swami is a great scholar, Acharya of our Sampradaya. He's praying for all the conditioned soul. That is the merciful of the Acharyas. Acharyas, they come here and they leave and they don't worry about themselves. They only worry about the conditioned souls. Because they know their goal, they know their duty, and they are elevated by birth. There are two kinds of souls, Nitya Siddha, Nitya Bhaddha. Nitya Siddha, they are always eternally liberated. Even though they come into the material world, they still liberated. They know what is the task that they have to execute. And whereas Nitya Bhaddha, they don't know what is their goal of life, and they don't know where they came from, and they don't know where they have to go, and they suffer life after life. That's why we should always read, hear the instructions of the Lord. When you take pleasure in these instructions, when you take pleasure hearing the Lord, so Lord's instructions, Lord's kirtan, then you will understand what is your situation. The way, when you understand what is your situation, then real devotion comes up. When you don't understand what is your situation, then you keep on enjoying, keep on thinking, oh, this is very, very nice. It is the nature of this condition, nature of this material world. It's not only for the human beings, it is applied for even Indra. One time Indra got cursed, you know, that when he was born as a hog, pig in the material world. So he was living happily with his filthy place, with his wife and children. And in that position, our Lord Brahmadev was, he saw that this Indra is enjoying here in the filthy place, and he came. No, Indra, why you are doing like this? You are not is meant for here. Your place is heavenly planet. You are a king of the heaven. What you are doing? Then Indra says that, "Oh, where? What are you talking? I should go to heavenly planet. This is my heaven. I'm enjoying with my wife and children. Why do you want to, take away from thee?" So even Indra is entrapped in this material world of illusion. So one should understand that we should always hear the Supreme Lord's glories again and again and again. Otherwise, this illusion energy will take away, because this illusion energy is so strong that you cannot imagine, that it covers you so much that you forget everything what you have done. And for your own pleasure, you do so many things, but none of them will save you. You know, because this way, because that's a illusion energy, which is Shakti of Lord Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Daiviyesha Gunamai Mama Maya Durattaya. Correct? Lord's illusion energy. That's why we should always, hear the glories of the Lord and follow the instructions, and read. Then only we will get rid of this illusion energy, in this entanglement. Otherwise, very, very difficult. Guru has given so much instructions and given so much merciful, his association. These acharyas, they give so that the conditioned souls can come out. There was I'll tell one story. It happened real during the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj time. So the title of this is that brought his disciple back from Yamaraj. Title of this brought, he brought his disciple from abode of Yamaraj. This is an incident which happened in 1930s. So there was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur who got initiated in 1933. He was from Guwahati, Assam, northern side of India. Okay. He followed all the principles in the beginning of devotion. He chanted Harinam on his beats and given him, like Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj has given him. And he was doing all the things when he was initiated. So on the 1st January, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur disappeared in the January 1st, 1937. So after disappearance of his spiritual master, so disciples started deteriorated in his devotional practice. You know, eventually he got engaged into anti-devotional activities, which are consuming meat, doing all kinds of nonsense, and it was his downfall. Even he stopped chanting Harinam, but loss of karma and some of other plans for him that within a few years he had fallen sick and he died. And as per the Hindu tradition, and the dead body is burned in the cremated ground. Hence, the body of the person was lying on the cremation ground within the wooden lakhs, which were supposed to set the fire. So suddenly, a dead man came into life. He was alive and started shouting, "My Gurudev's name is Gurudev's name, Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada," which means Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. People present there were astonished to see, in the dead body cannot be alive. People see astonished to see this one. They were flocking away thinking that this is a ghost. And he went home immediately and he told his family and that I'm renouncing everything. I'm from this material world and I want to serve my Gurudev words. So life after death had a chance in completely, and he shared his amazing experience life after death. He shared his story as follows. So this is his background. And everybody asked, how do you become alive? What happened? So when he had died, he saw two gigantic, horrifying features, Yamaduta, who came and took him away in this world and to another unknown world, which is Yamapuri, Yamaraj's abode. On his way, Yamapuri, he felt thirsty because the way Yamapuri was desert and it was scorching sun on his head. It's so desert. Like when you walk on the desert, there's so much heat. When he asked Yamadutas water, I'm so thirsty, I need water. They showed him a pond to quench his thirst. And when he went near the pond, and he found it was the pond was full of vomit, blood, and pus. On complaining to them that how could he ever drink such a filthy thing, they replied them that he can only get vomit to drink on his way to Yamapuri and nothing else due to his past karma. Feeling depressed, he moved on with them to the Yamapuri. So after reaching Yamaraj abode Yamapuri, he was made to stand in a queue where all the sinful people stand, and they assist by Chitragupta who makes notes of our good and bad activities, and the assistance of Yamaraj, and was opening accounts for all the karmas with the people in general, and they were all standing in a queue. He was horrified to see that every other prisoner standing before him was immediately sent to hell. And Chitragupta, upon seeing their accounts, and at last, when it was his turn, he was sent it to Yamaraj. When Chitragupta saw him, you go to Yamaraj. And he was bewildered. Everybody is going to hell, and when my turn comes, Chitragupta asked me to go to Yamaraj. Then Yamaraj said, so when he saw Yamaraj, asked him, this person who had died, that he has a good, he has, if he had any, if he had performed any good deed in his life, which he could relate. recollect? And he answered, I got initiated from Srila Prabhupada. That means his spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. Upon hearing Srila Prabhupada's name, Yamaraja closed his eyes and he remembered Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. And immediately, amazingly, one thing happened. Srila Prabhupada appeared there, Yamaraj, Yamarpuri. And even for such a disciple, he had betrayed him, not following the actions that he has taken in the time of initiation. And before answering to Yamaraj, Srila Prabhupada directly chastised him. He chastised him. He said that, I have given you Harinam, I have given you Diksha, and I have given everything. What you have done? Why are you getting involved in anti-devotional activities, consuming restricted things? Upon hearing the instructions, chastisement, and he asked forgiveness. And Srila Prabhupada, his Divine Grace Prabhupada, showed his disciple mercy and accepted his forgiveness. And he ordered, now you go back to earth again and accept Harinam from his disciple Srila Bhakti Dayatava. His name is Srila Bhakti Dayata Madhava Goswami Maharaj in Kolkata. So as soon as Srila Prabhupada asked him to take reinitiate, and he came and did not remember what happened after that, and he got up in the crematorium gourd. So everybody was shocked when he got up from there. This is a background what happens when he died. So shouting Prabhupada, Prabhupada. After that he renounced his worldly life and immediately went to the see Bhakti Daita Madhava Goswami Maharaj and accepted Harinam initiation from him. And then he went on into his room, Sri Bhakti Daita Maharaj, and was present, and he started narrating his whole story about what has happened after death. And Bhakti Daita Maharaj was stopped him. He said, I know everything what had happened in Hemapuri. So this Maharaj is sitting in Kolkata. Before he's saying the disciple, he said, I know everything what happened in when you died, so you don't have to tell me. So I will reinitiate you. And he stayed there and reinitiated him. And he chanted he stayed in the mud, and he kept on chanting Harinam always for 8 years until he gained his left his world. Sorry. We have seen so many insurance policies in this world. Insurance, I will give insurance in this world. But such an insurance policy for saving the fallen soul is only Gurudev, our spiritual master. Because they give only that insurance, they temporary insurance. So this incident proves that the eternity of Guru's relationship is disciple, and it is boundless mercy upon his disciple. So, does this story ring the bell of our life? What had what we're supposed to be doing in contrast, and we are supposed to engage in our daily life. Guru can show the path, but disciple has to follow his instructions, chant Harinam, stay away from anti-devotional activities, and save himself from the hell. So this lecture is given in the Sri Chaitanya Mat in Sri Jagannath Puri on the holy disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Daita Maharaj, Bhakti Daita Madhav Maharaj. This was recently in 2018 February when this Bhakti Daita Chaitanya Maharaj, Madhav Goswami Maharaj disappeared, and his disciple, he narrated this story. You know how merciful is his Guru Maharaj on 18th February 2018, 15th February 2018. So, so this was the story that brings you, how much this story rings the bell of our life, that we should be very, very, very careful following the instructions, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita with careful. Otherwise, if you are not doing that, then you are giving a guru another task, going to hell searching for you and getting back. So that's why you should understand why I told you this story is because we should understand what is reality of this life and people who are diverted from devotional service. This is a you know gives you idea how much mercy of the Guru is flowing towards us. We should be also careful enough of this illusionary energy. When Guru passed away, people divert and they stop doing all the devotional activities. This is illusionary energy. This is how it traps you. It not only traps all the outsiders who are not connected to the spiritual movement, this organization or whatever they are, Harinam and the holy name of the Lord. It also affects to the initiated devotees. So that's why you should be careful. It's not that Maya acts only outsiders, not the initiated. No, it acts everybody. So it gives you a strong faith on Guru, this story, and also strong faith in Shastras. So I will stop here. You see any questions and comments on this?
Um, Thank you for your class, Prabhuji. It's so important topic, and I was wondering if you could maybe speak a little bit about how when we're preaching,
Preaching?
when we preach, we yukta vairagya, we use the material energy, material things, grihastha ashram. People have kids, they're in the world working jobs and everything. But in relation to the yukta vairagya, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati in the I think the book Vaishnava K, he says one must become a yukta vairagya. I think I remember reading it. And but with that being said, I was wondering if you could maybe say something about the importance of sadhu sangha, devotee association, so that we don't go to get taken off by Maya. When we're using it in the Lord's service, we still need the association of devotees to keep us in check, basically. So I was wondering if you could maybe say this.
So, once what happened, Srila Prabhupada was also asked by his disciple, Prabhupada, which is good one, book Bhagavat or person Bhagavat? And Prabhupada told, ask disciple to come closer. Prabhupada pulled his ear and he said, this can only be done by person Bhagavat, not book Bhagavat. No? Book only it can, when you open, when you read, it can give you the instructions, it can give you the guidelines. But to follow that guidelines, devotee has to give. So when you follow guidelines only because of the devotee's mercy, the devotees will only tell you that you are going out of the, out of, or like you are going off the path. If they are saying that you are going out of the path, if you listen to them, then you will be saved. If you don't listen to them, then you will be gone. You think that I know better, I know what to do, you know, this is, I got instructions, I will do that. But when devotee sees that you are going offline, you are going out of the path, but when the devotee say that, but you listen to them, you will be saved. In the name of Viktavairagya, many devotees, they use everything. They do. They think that we are expert in using everything in Krishna consciousness. But the same energy, that the same thing that you are using in the Krishna consciousness, that same thing will throw away from the path of devotional service. Just like The famous Titanic ship. The Titanic ship. The, to sail the ship, to move the ship, the water is useful. But the same water, when it comes into the ship, that it makes ship drown. Same thing, some things which you are using to progress in Krishna consciousness, like I would say things like like for example, microphone. If you are not expert using microphone in preaching Krishna consciousness, then you use for that same thing that you are using. But sometimes what happens when you are not in the border, when you are not in a strict to that, then this microphone becomes you used for the preaching others, preaching the things, worldly leaders, or your glorification. How great I am, just when you do use that thing, that's slowly deteriorating the path of devotional service. That's why we should be very, very conscious of what we are doing, conscious of things that you are using, conscious of what is your main attitude behind using. I'm preaching to glorify me or to glorify my Guru and Krishna. I may quote so many verses, I may say fascinating stories, and then when devotee says, "Oh, very nice class, Prabhu, very nice, what a kirtan, what a class," then if you internally you take everything by yourself, see, now you get recognized me. I am such a great devotee. When the thought comes in your mind, that means you have started diverting. As soon as if anybody comes and says, "Very nice, that job," then immediately you should offer this to Guru and Krishna. Then you will be saved. Otherwise, if you take all the credits for yourself, then it may not happen immediately. It will happen slow and steady. It may not, okay, you take all the credit, immediately fall down. Sometimes it may happen also. We don't know. It is slowly you're taking credit by yourself. See, I'm such a great devotee. You may say not say outside, you may not speak up externally, like, but internally, that internal matter. Krishna consciousness is internal, not external. Externally, you may be doing all the things like wearing tilak, saffron, everything, but if internally is not changed, then it will be problem. The attitude behind everything, whether to please Krishna, whether you please yourself. Whatever you do, you may do kirtan or you may do like your class, you perform anything. What is the attitude that you should check and balance? Let before when you start something, like if you're doing kirtan or if you're giving class, let this class be pleased to the Supreme Lord. Let this class be pleased by Guru and Gauranga. Having that intention, if you speak, then it will have. If you're trying to impress people, if you're trying to impress the crowd, then whatever you may say, people may be impressed today, but tomorrow they don't. No, people may give you likes, subscribe, like, but they may press 100 likes. But if Krishna did not like that, then everything is zero. Right? How this is good? Okay then. Thank you so much. Granth Raj Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I go.